Good morning, everyone. Today I'll be discussing the concept of a thesis, which is one of the most important component of postgraduate academic work. If we talk about the definition and meaning of a thesis is a formal academic research document that a, com- a student submits as a part of completing a master's degree and sometimes for a bachelor's degree honors as well. It is not just an assignment or a long essay, rather, it is carefully planned and systematically executed research project. Further, a thesis represents independent research conducted by the student under the supervision of a guide, a research supervisor. Although supervisor provides direction and feedback, the core intellectual effort comes from student only. The thesis demonstrates several academic abilities to show that the student can identify a research problem. He has to do the review of existing literature, choose an appropriate research methodology, and collect and analyze data and draw logical and meaningful conclusion that is essential. Importantly, a thesis contributes either new knowledge or a new interpretation of existing knowledge. Sometimes it may always discover something entirely unknown, but it must add value to the discipline. Although a thesis is a narrower in scope compared to a doctoral dissertation, and it still demands originality, academic discipline, systematic inquiry, etc. Now we talk about purpose of a thesis. So let us understand why we write a thesis. There are several important purposes behind thesis writing, and out of them the first is to present original research. So once if we are willing to present the original research, a thesis must investigate a clearly defined research problem. A student should not merely repeat what others have already written. Instead, the study should explore a question in a fresh way. Now, originality does not necessarily mean inventing something completely new. It may involve applying an existing theory to a new context, analyzing a new text, studying a new population, or interpreting previous findings differently. The key idea is only contribution. Now, number 2 is demonstrate mastery of research methodology. The second purpose is to demonstrate mastery of research methodology, and a thesis shows that the student understands research design and research tools. The student must know how to collect data systematically, whether through survey, interviews, textual analysis, or experiments. It can be any out of them. It also reflects knowledge of qualitative and quantitative or mixed research methods. Further, through the thesis, the student proves that they are capable of conducting structured and scientific research. Number 3, to contribute the academic knowledge. Another important purpose is contributing to academic scholarships. A good thesis identifies gap in existing literature and it builds upon earlier studies and extends academic discussions. It may suggest new perspective, purpose, solution, or recommend areas for future research as well. In this way, we can say the thesis becomes part of the larger academic conversation. So the next year comes to fulfill degree requirements. That is really essential. A thesis is mandatory in many postgraduate programs. So, without successful submission of a defense of the thesis, the degree cannot be awarded. Therefore, it is both an academic exercise as a formal requirement as well. Finally, thesis writing develops valuable research skills. It enhances critical thinking because the student must analyze information deeply. It improves academic writing skills, especially clarity, coherence, and citation. It strengthens analytical and problem solving abilities, which are useful not only in academia but also in professional life. Now, let us move to the structure of a thesis. Although formatting may vary from one university to another, most theses follow a similar structure, that is, the first title page. The title page contains the full title of the research. It includes the student's name, degree, department, institution, and submission date as well. The title should clearly reflect the focus of the study. It must be specific, precise, and academically appropriate. Then comes abstract. The abstract is a short summary of the entire thesis, usually between 150 to 300 words. It briefly states the research problem, objectives, methodology, major findings, and conclusions. The abstract allows reader to quickly understand what the study is about and why it is important. Acknowledgements. This section expresses gratitude to the supervisor, faculty members, family, and sometimes funding agencies as well. Although optional, it is customary in academic writing. It reflects academic courtesy and humility. The table of contents lists all chapters and subsections with page numbers. It ensures easy navigation of the document. In a lengthy research document, organization is extremely important. Introduction sets the foundation of the thesis. It provides background information about the topic. It clearly states the research problem and further it defines objectives and research questions. It explains the significance and scope of the study. Sometimes it also includes limitations and definitions of the key terms. The introduction prepares the reader for the detailed discussion that follows. Literature review. The literature review surveys previous research related to the topic and it does not simply summarize earlier studies. Instead, it critically analyzes them. It identifies research gaps and shows where the current study fits. It also establishes the theoretical and conceptual framework of the research. This section demonstrates the researcher's depth of reading and academic maturity. Research methodology. The methodology chapter explains how the research was conducted. It describes whether the research design is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed. It explains the population of the sample. It details the tools used to data collection, such as questionnaires, interviews, experiments, or textual analysis. It discusses methods of data analysis. It also mentions ethical considerations such as confidentiality and consent. This section ensures transparency and reliability as well. Data analysis and results. This chapter presents the collected data systematically. It may include tables, charts, graphs, and statistical results. The findings are reported clearly and objectively. At this stage, interpretation is limited. Detailed explanation usually comes in the discussion section. Now, what is discussion? The discussion interprets the results. It explains what the findings mean in relation to the research questions. It compares results with previous studies. It highlights the implications and significance of the findings. The section connects theory with practice. Then comes conclusion and recommendations. The conclusion summarizes the major findings. It states whether the objectives were achieved. It mentions limitations of the study. It provides recommendations for future research or practical applications. The conclusion should be concise, clear, and impactful. References and bibliography section lists all the sources cited in the thesis. It follows a specific citation style such as APA, MLA, or Chicago. Proper referencing ensures academic honesty and prevents plagiarism. Then comes appendix. Appendix includes supplementary material. These may be questionnaire, interviews, schedules, raw data, or consent forms, etc. They provide supporting evidence without interrupting the main text. To conclude, a thesis is not merely a long academic document, it is a demonstration of intellectual growth, research capability, and scholarly discipline. It requires systematic planning, deep reading, careful analysis, and structured presentation. Although narrower than a dissertation, a thesis demands originality, rigor, and academic integrity. It is both a milestone in academic life and a foundation for future research. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. You can write in the comment box for the upcoming topic to be taken.